This has been one of the most important epiphanies for me in my entire life. And I found it in a book that I'm going to share with you today. But it is the main ingredient for business success. Good morning there. It's Kevin Ward with your special episode of Kevin at 7. We're talking today about the main ingredient for business success. So if you want permanent, long-term business success, this is the main ingredient. You lose this, you don't have this main ingredient, you miss this, or you lose this, you're done. You cannot succeed massively in business without this ingredient. Now, it is the meat and meatloaf. I was thinking back to when I was a kid. There were two things we had a lot of. We had a lot of meatloaf and we had a lot of pork and beans. Now, but they're two very different things. Meatloaf, the main ingredient was the meat. So you had meat, and then you had some veggies and maybe some ketchup and some other stuff in it, some spices that give it flavor. But the main ingredient of meatloaf was mostly just a big loaf of meat that you baked in the oven. Now, on the other hand, we had pork and beans. Now, pork and beans were pork and beans. I didn't even know that pork and beans meant pork and beans. I thought it was poor canned beans. Because before I read, it was just like they ever said pork and beans. I'm like, pork canned beans. So it must be because we're poor, we eat canned beans. So these are pork and beans. And then later I discovered, I saw the can of it when I could read, and I'm like, pork and beans? Like pork, like that's bacon. That's like meat, right? And there's no meat in a can of, I think it's Van Camp's pork and beans. And like, there's no meat in it. And it was this little white chunk. And I didn't even know what it was for years. I just thought it was a little white chunk of something. But it turned out to be a little chunk of pork fat. So in a can of pork and beans, you had, 1,000 beans and maybe 3 little bitty chunks of pork. And that was it. So it was pork and beans, but there was no pork. And compare that to meatloaf, that there was a main ingredient of meatloaf was meat. If you want success for long-term in your business, you have to have the right main ingredient. Now, here's the question. Good morning, everybody. As you come on, type in the comments where you're from. But here's my question. What would you say is the single most important main ingredient for business success? For long-term business success, what would you think is the main long-term ingredient? Type your answer in the comments. If you're watching this as a replay, type it in the comments. Just type in, what would you say is you could pick one main ingredient. There's lots of ingredients, just like in a meatloaf, okay? Just like in a casserole, there's a lot of ingredients, but there's one main ingredient. And if you don't have this ingredient, you will not have long-term success in your business. So if you're a real estate agent or any other kind of business owner, if you do not have this one major ingredient, if this is not the main ingredient in your business, you will not succeed. Not long term. You may succeed for short term, but you will not succeed long term, and you will not stay successful without this main ingredient. Okay, guys, come on, type it up. Let's go. Type it up. I got 8 of you on. Welcome. All right. So, what is the main ingredient? Oh, so I'm just going to tell you what it's not. It's not effort, not work ethic. It's not how hard you work, not how many hours you work. It's not how long you put in the grind. It's not the hustle. Hustling is not the main ingredient of success. Now, does hustle matter? Is hustle important? Sure, you need to hustle. But is hustle the main and most important ingredient for business success? Nope, because people hustle all the time. You can hustle for minimum wage. Okay, the people that run a fast food business, a lot of them, that one, you hustle. If you're going to be in the fast food business, you have to hustle. And you'll probably make minimum wage. So hustle does not in any way guarantee business success. Now, do you have to hustle and have the hustle and willingness to work hard to succeed in business? Of course, but it's not the main ingredient. You can hustle and fail. Number 2, it's not confidence. You just, if I have the right confidence, I believe in myself. If I've got confidence, then I believe in myself, I can show up and I'm going to be successful in business. Nope. Now, does confidence matter? Yep, confidence matters. Confidence is important. So what do you think it is? Okay, type in the comments. What do you think is the number one main ingredient for long-term sustainable business success in any industry, in any market? What is the number one ingredient? And somebody says lead generation. Marketing? Nope. Now, does lead generation matter? Yeah. Does marketing matter? Yeah. Does getting the word out to message to customers and prospects? Yep, it matters, but it's not the main ingredient. You can prospect all day. You can prospect all day long. You can market all day long. But if you don't have the main ingredient, you will not be successful. Well, what about team? It's having the right people around you. You need to have the right people around you if you want long-term massive success. No one succeeds alone. You must have the right people around you. True. Agreed. 100%. But it's not the main ingredient. You can have a great team around you. You can have a massive team around you. You can spend all your money on employees and team and fail without the main ingredient. What else could it be? What about systems? Could it be systems? Let's go with systems. I need to have, if you want to be successful in business, you've got to have the right systems. Nope. The systems matter. Absolutely. Especially if you're going to scale your business, you're going to make a lot of money at it. You need to have systems. You can't just keep grinding and all that. You need systems. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Welcome. As you come on, type in the chat where you're from. And here's the question we are fighting through this morning. What is the main ingredient? The number one main ingredient for this long-term massive business success. And we've decided it is not effort, not work ethic. It is not skill. It is not confidence. Okay. It's not belief. It's not having a team. It's not technology. It's not marketing. It's not prospecting. It's not systems. Do all those matter? Yep. They all matter. Good morning, Brittany. Good to see you. Brittany, what would you say is the most important key, the main ingredient for all success? We're going to be talking about this on our coaching calls today. Brittany says it's your story. Great answer. No, it's not your story. Does your story matter? Does what you believe and what you say to yourself matter? Absolutely, it matters. But it's not the main ingredient for success. Okay? It is not. Here is the main ingredient. All those matter, but it's not the main ingredient. Here is the main ingredient. And then I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to read you a little bit from a book by Napoleon Hill called How to Raise Your Own Salary. Now, this is one of, if not my favorite, is one of my favorites of Napoleon Hill. The guy who wrote Think and Grow Rich, the guy who wrote The Law of Success in 16 Lessons. He wrote this book. Good morning, John. He wrote this book. It was one of the last books he published in his life. And it was published, I think, in 1953 or something like that. It's called How to Raise Your Own Salary. It's not really about money. It's not really about how to raise your son. Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is not really about money. Think and Grow Rich is about thinking. Yeah, right. Think and grow rich. Okay, so what is the main ingredient? And here's the answer. You guys ready? I want everybody to type this in the comments. Type it in the comments. The main ingredient is a burning desire. That is the secret. That is the main ingredient for all long-term business success. Is you have to have a burning desire. You've got to have something you want. You can call it a dream, but that dream must take on the proportions of a burning desire. And if you want massive long-term success, that burning desire must become an obsession. Now, I'm going to share with you what Napoleon Hill wrote. Type it in the chat. Thank you, Brittany. Type it in the comments. A burning desire, even more powerful than that. Listen to this. Okay, so the thing I love about this book is this is Napoleon Hill's interview notes with Andrew Carnegie. So Andrew Carnegie was one of the most successful businessmen in the history of the United States. He was equivalent to being kind of one of the first billionaires. He was he was the wealthiest man in the world for a period of time. And he built and he created a process for manufacturing mass quantities of structural steel. So he was a steel guy. And every skyscraper that you see today is a result of Andrew Carnegie's innovation in steel. The railroad system, the entire railway industry was revolutionized because Andrew Carnegie figured out a way to produce structural steel that would not crack. Most steel was iron. It was too much iron because of the way it was made. It was brittle, so it'd break. So you couldn't build a skyscraper because the weight of the iron itself, of the metal, would cause it to collapse. Same with railroads. One of the biggest problems with railroads was the rails would break. They would crack, which obviously makes everything crash. So it destroys everything. So he created this process for structural steel. But here's what made him successful. Now this is his notes. This is Napoleon Hill's notes with Andrew Carnegie. And this is what he wrote about. They start talking about the 17 major principles of success. So Andrew Carnegie said there are 17 major principles of success. And he said, here's the first one. The first and the most important is a definite major purpose. You got to have a definite major purpose. In other words, you've got to have a big why. But beyond that, he said, study any person. Now I'm going to read now. This is on page 8 of my version of How to Raise Your Own Salary by Andrew Carnegie. He says, study any person who is known to be a permanent success. Now, what are we looking for? You want temporary success or you want permanent success? No, we want permanent success. So he said, study any person who is known to be a permanent success, and you will find that he has a definite major goal and that he has a plan for the attainment of that goal. And he devotes the major portion of his thoughts and his efforts to the attainment of this goal. Now, my own purpose, he said, my own major purpose is that of making and marketing steel. I conceived of that person while working as a laborer. It became an obsession with me. Now, listen to this, because this is the most important part. It became an obsession with me. I took it to bed with me at night, and I took it to work with me in the morning. My definite purpose became more than a mere wish. See, everybody wants to make $1 million. Everybody wishes that they could be successful. Everybody wants to make a lot of money and be successful. But he says it has to become more than a mere wish, more than just a dream. Here's what he said. It became more than just a mere wish. It became my burning desire, in italics. It became my burning desire. That this is the only sort of definite purpose which seems to bring desired results. A burning desire brings desired results. A burning desire brings desired results. Emphasize through every means at your command the vast difference between a mere wish and a burning desire that has assumed the proportions of an obsession. I'm going to read that again. Emphasize the vast difference between a mere wish and a burning desire that has assumed the proportions of an obsession. Everyone wishes for the better life and the better things of life, such as money, a good position, fame, recognition, but most people never go beyond the wishing stage. And so he says, those that do get it, are determined to get it, do not stop at wishing. They intensify their wishes into a burning desire and back that desire with continuous effort. So now you're getting a formula. Right now, you're getting a full formula. You got a definite major purpose. You have a burning desire that you turn into an obsession. It's got to have a plan for its attainment, and it's got to have continuous effort based on that sound plan. And then it is necessary to induce other people to cooperate in carrying out that plan, which means you can't succeed alone. And so he finally says this, and this is kind of the summary. The first step from poverty to riches. So if you aren't making enough money today and you want to make more money, if you want to have more success and you want to have long-term success, this is what he says. The first step from poverty to riches is the most difficult. It may simplify my statement if I tell you that all riches and all material things that anyone acquires through self-effort began in the form of a clear, concise mental picture of the thing one seeks. So you got to be able to visualize it. You got to be able to see it. When that picture grows or has been forced to the proportions of an obsession, it is taken over by the subconscious mind, and through some hidden law of nature, which the wisest of men do not understand, from that point on, one is drawn, attracted, or guided in the direction of the physical equivalent, i.e., the manifestation of the mental picture. Right here, my friends, is the key. If this is making sense, make sure you give this a thumbs up. Here is the key. It is a burning desire that the flames of that burning desire are fanned into an obsession. You've got to have a definite major purpose. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. And you've got to fan the flames of that burning desire into an obsession. Now you need a plan. You got to have continuous effort. Okay. You've got to be willing to bring people into the fight with you. But it all starts, and the main ingredient that will sustain it all, that will fire it all the way to completion, is a burning desire that you fan into the flames of an obsession. If you want business success, not temporary, not just to have a few good months or a good year, but to build a business that will take you through your life with major success, it begins and it continues and it ends with one thing: a burning desire, a dream that is turned into a burning desire and an obsession for the things that you want. That, my friends, is the secret. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a great morning. Have a great, what is today, Tuesday morning. Have a great Tuesday morning. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another special episode of Kevin at 7. 3, 2, 1, off you go.